live on Facebook group, Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube. It's me starting off right now by myself. AP should be joining me in a second. At least I think that anyway. So welcome to those who have joined. So when I'm by myself, Radika should be in next week. But when I'm by myself, I'm going to normally just go into some stuff and just try to share a little knowledge with you on a few things. And I'm going to do that on apartments today, since I released that particular video on yesterday about that. So it's your opportunity to get educated on how to identify an actual apartment deal. But I'm looking for a file here. I need to put this thumb up first before I get into that. But again, welcome everyone to this week's Flippinar. I'm by myself, as you can see. Hopefully that'll change here in a second. There's that file. And we can move forward. Okay, that's the file. Okay, there we go. So if you're new to the Flippinar, normally the format is that we answer questions that you ask on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. This week, as last week, I'm solo. Therefore, I'm just going to go into some stuff that I think will be helpful to you in your journey on this real estate thing to make some money, which is why we're all here, to learn how to do just that. Okay, so what I want to talk about today, I released a video on yesterday about how to find and flip apartments. And most of my channel is dedicated to wholesaling houses. Over 95% of the content is dedicated to that intentionally. And I have spoken a little bit about apartment buildings and or some other forms of commercial. But I released a video on yesterday showing you how you could use Dealulator, aka PropStream, and how to locate potential apartment deals, well, by finding the owner. And within the actual tool, it would also show you how to when you're searching, you can actually see the status of the property. Some of them may be in bankruptcy. There may be some liens, and then determine what type of lien. I even seen a lien there for like a $12,000 back child support, attached to the property. Those could all show levels of motivation where you can reach out to that owner to see if they're interested in selling. Now, part of the reason I put it out there is to show you how valuable a tool that it can be. Talking about the PropStream, aka Dealulator. But the other thing is that I want to show you is how to do the search and what to do with it once you do gather that information. But one of the things I know that I was going to run into is that a lot of you don't know how to evaluate an apartment deal. First thing is that you don't evaluate multifamily the way you do with houses. Especially the more units. You start dealing with duplexes, which technically that's multifamily, but it gets a commercial grade 5 units or more. You somewhat have to take just the houses and the rental income of what houses are producing like 2-1 if there were 3 2s or whatever. Even if it was a duplex, it can be a duplex that's both of them are 2-1, or one of them could be a 2-1, one of them could be a 1-1, and so on. So, man, my computer's tripping. I think I got a virus. So with that being said, let's just break it down how apartment deals work. Okay. Wait a minute, let me see here. What's up? Okay, I'm assuming everybody can hear me, whatever. So on all platforms, but with apartments, well, just it's an income producing property. So a couple of ways people evaluate apartments. They'll go by what other properties of similar type are sold in an area per door, and or and the other is about income. If I'm rambling, I'm trying to do a lot of things here, so I've got a lot of you're trying to take care of all this stuff behind the scenes, whatever. Anyway, with all these cameras. But anyway, so the thing is that you want to the way you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is evaluate an apartment. Obviously, the number of units, and then what they call a unit mix. A unit mix simply means how many bedrooms, how many baths, and so on. That's the unit mix. So you want to know how many 1 bedrooms, 1 bath, how many 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, or 2 bedroom, 1.5, 2 bedroom, 2. That's the unit mix. And then you'll want to know the vacancy or occupancy rate, which is virtually one and the same. If we'll just say if it's 50 units, if 40 of them are rented, then I don't know what the percentage is there, but that would be the rate, because you have 10 vacants and 40 are rented. Or you can flip it, you have 40 vacants and 10 rooms, that would be a considerably distressed property. All right, now the main income of most most multifamily property is going to be the rent, of course, but you can have other things like a laundromat, maybe some vending machines, things of that nature. But your main income is going to come from actually collecting the rents. Okay, so the way you evaluate it based on the income that it's producing, you will use NOI, price, and cap rate. All right, now to determine the NOI, which means net operating income, you take the annual gross income, and you subtract the gross annual expenses, and that'll give you the NOI. All right, just to do some quick math here on my phone, we'll just say a property is producing $100,000 in income per year. All right, so that's the gross income per year. All right, and you want to subtract. We'll just say it's doing $30,000 in expenses per year, and that'll include things like management fee, which is normally anywhere from 5 to 10%. Maintenance is included. What utilities the owner may pay, your taxes and insurance are included in that. So just all the total expenses. All right. So that leaves $70,000. Now, so that's the net operating income for that particular property, $70,000. If they wanted to sell that property for $1 million, to come up with an actual capitalization rate, which cap rate is short for that, you divide the $1 million into the 70,000. And that'll give you a 7% cap rate. Now, simply what that means from my understanding, but I think this is it. is that basically that's your return on investment over the course of a year, the 7%. All right. And so in some markets that are, depending on what type of property, I need to include this. You have different levels of properties. You have A, B, C, and D. All right. A would be Beverly Hills, so most people can recognize that. And a D may be, I don't know, a neighborhood. I don't know if Compton is a D, but I'm just gonna say just for the purpose of what I'm trying to explain. All right, now, so if you can figure out what the A is, and you can figure out what the D is in dog, then you can quite naturally figure out what a C is and what a B is. All right, so in an A neighborhood, depending on the city, the market, 6% cap rate is maybe full price. But in a D neighborhood in that same city, a 10% cap rate may be full price. And a lot of times that's factored in as far as the risk factor, as far as how people will, the risk as far as being able to collect their rent and keeping the properties rented. Now, you have people that live everywhere, but in some areas, it's not, number one, hard to get the property rented, and it's not hard to get people to pay the rent on time versus other areas. It is what it is. So that'll factor in the cap rate. So whenever you're actually evaluating a property, those are the things that you're going to take in consideration. The number of units, the unit mix, how many are vacant or occupied, the condition, obviously, what repairs may be needed. You always want to know how recent the roof was placed, and how old are the heating and air systems. That'll be a huge factor in knowing what type of repairs needed, depending on the size of the property. All right, and then you get down to just price, and then you want to gather the information as far as the expenses on the property. Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention is rent rolls. Now, what rent rolls are, and I'm saying rent rolls, like rolling a ball, rent rolls. That's basically helps you to identify, it goes in, I guess, conjunction with the occupancy or vacancy rate, and let you know which unit is rented, how the tenant's name possibly, depending on sending you the information, how long they've been there, is their deposit being held, what they're paying per month. It may even break down what type of unit they're renting as for the 1 bedroom, 2 bath, or a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. So it'll break all that down. And so you'll want that information. Now, whenever you're actually collecting information to analyze it, the things that you want to get from an owner, sometimes they'll be reluctant to give it to you or whatever, but you got to have it. You need to try to get at least the last 2 years of profit and loss statements and a trailing 12, meaning the last 12 months of the same thing, basically. And so some dealing with a lot of mom and pops, they just won't keep good records. Sometimes they just keep it in their head. They write it down on just notebook paper. But if they have a good management company in place, it should just be the press of a button, and they should be able to spit that out and send it to you. Okay, but so you have to keep that in mind. But that can be a negotiating tool when they don't have good records, because in reality, if they don't keep good records, and I guess any records could be falsified, but at least they need to look legitimate. They just have it written down on the paper, then you just totally taking their word on the property. And so you have to buy with that in mind. The other thing is that you'll get a lot of what they call pro formas. And that's basically saying what the property will do if this and that happens. I would encourage you, don't ever do deals based on that. You want to do deals based on what it's doing right now, whether that's good or bad. That's how you want to negotiate your deal, because a lot of owners will sell the property based on, well, out of the 40 units that I have available, I only have 20 of them rented. So that's 50% vacancy, so So you want me to buy based on that I can rent the other 20? No, whatever issues you were having, that's on you. We need to negotiate on what the property is doing right now. Now, they don't have to sell it to you, but that's the attitude you need to have, in my opinion, whenever you're negotiating, is that you know, I'm going to buy based on what it's doing right now. Whether that's good or bad, I'm going to buy based on that, not what it can do. Now, when you're in a wholesale position, the more distressed a property is, and it doesn't have to mean distress. Doesn't have to mean in the sense of needing a lot of repairs, but distressed in the sense that it's been poorly managed and it has a lot of vacancy. The property could be in really good shape, but it may be just managed, hadn't been managed well. So that's what I would encourage you to. So flipping that over to with the video that I put out yesterday, and you can do a search on YouTube for flip. I think I got a title that's find and flip apartment buildings. If you do a search on that and put the flip man behind it, that particular video, because it's my most recent one before this one, which is a Flippinar. So and what I basically show you is how to use the deregulated AK prop string to be able to locate those types of properties. And I explained to you that depending on the county that you're targeting, sometimes, and I normally put in a minimum of 3,500 square feet on what you'll see on the video. Depending on how they code multifamily will determine how large they go up or whatever. So you have to somewhat play with it. The great thing about dealing in multifamily, which is a form of commercial as long as 5 units or more, is that you can target the entire country. So you don't have to just limit yourself to your market. And I also put it out there, if you find something good, I would love to work with you. You know, if you find something good that's off market, my definition of off market is if I Google the address, it is not advertised anywhere on the internet. I don't, and also you need to be dealing directly with the owner, not somebody, this is my partner, blah, blah, this guy, you could do it. I just don't want to be involved in it. You know? So Adrian's here, so I'm gonna stop rambling. Hopefully that helps to understand that video that I put out yesterday. So if you had prop stream, you had the deregulator, you need to probably sign up for it, because I'm gonna keep adding information on how you can use it. Right now, I'm not gonna quit. You can go to the site and see what it costs after the 55-day trial. But if you had it, call support tomorrow, see how you can read back up, because I'm gonna keep putting out videos to show you, say, dang, I shouldn't have canceled that. Dang, I shouldn't have canceled that. It's an overwhelming tool because of all the information that can be used to do it. It's not perfect. I don't think there's a perfect one out there or whatever, but the information, if you know how to use it, can be, you just can't put a price on it in reality, the way it's aggregated. So, Adrian, come on in here. Let's get it. Let's get it for real. Something going on with my laptop. I think I'm going to have to put,
you just scoop down there.
say what?
Yeah,
just scoop down there. And I need a good chair. I need a good chair. So she in here.
Hi, everybody. Crystal, you've been doing a wonderful job. She has.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Where are we at?
We ain't nowhere. I just been talking.
You've been talking, rambling?
Yeah.
Oh, did you tell him you were talking about deregulator?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, you like my hair?
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. That's what took so long?
No.
Okay.
The chair took me so long. I went back for the chair.
You didn't have to do that.
I know, I didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to do that.
I know.
We could have worked it out with old Bess over there.
Okay.
All right, so.
Okay, so I know, right?
Tired,
You tired? You were
Tired,
talking a whole
folks.
lot. Yeah. Okay, so let's see here. We're just gonna go into some more questions. Did you answer? Let's see here. Hey, whose question is this on YouTube? Eric says, doesn't like me making too much off of his cash deal. He buys lots of houses. I don't know what that was about. Eric, what you talking about? Oh, they're all saying hello to me.
Put the mic over here and you can put the thing. and then you can grab the mouse. Put it over there. There you go.
I got this. Like you could have told me I was clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, so let's just go into is it a deal? You ready? You got your calculator thing?
Yeah.
80J Industries LLC. Is it a deal? Property has an ARV of 140K. Times 70% is 98K. Needs about 18,000 in repairs, which leaves 80,000. Seller has a payoff of 65K on a mortgage, and my assigned double is 15, breaking even to pay off the mortgage. Wow. I don't know. Is it a deal?
But what are the numbers again?
ARV is 140. Needs about 18,000 in repairs. Seller has 65 to pay it off. So 70, we'll just say 90. And he says 15,000 is out there. That's breaking even everywhere. Not enough meat on the bone, right?
Hold on a second.
Oh, you're not listening to me.
I'm trying to get some people said they couldn't get on, so they be getting on through here. So all right, so what's the ARV?
140.
And what's the repairs?
18.
And what's his price?
65.
Okay. Yeah, it's some room in there to make some money.
He says he wants to assign it in, I guess, 15. He says my assignment double is 15. That's too much.
Yeah, you got to be flexible on that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring.
You don't have to do anything when you know. Yeah. But I will put it out there at 80. You know, see what happens.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to the next one. When dealing with pre-foreclosures, what is the proper process to go about it? And that's from Shantae from the Chi-Town. My baby's heading to Chi-Town. Okay, you know what?
Okay.
How do you handle pre-foreclosures?
Well, it depends on what they're doing. If it's a pre-foreclosure in the sense that they're not trying to go through a short sale, they're just going to boil down to how much equity they have in the property. You know, meaning what's the payoff versus what it's worth. All right. So now, if it's a situation where you have to go through a short sale, then you're at the mercy of the bank. And that entire process, depending on the lender, will determine how long it takes to put the actual short sale package together. It can be anywhere from 30 days to 4 months to come back with an answer from them that they may, that may work for you, may not. Then you have to have the right type of buyer for it. So hopefully I answered that.
Yeah. Hey, Veronica, thank you. She said, my hair looks nice. She said, you smell so big when I came in. You be missing me. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, wow. Okay, Don John, we're here and welcome. Keelan Powell on the Wholesome with Ty. Congratulations on closing on your deal on Tuesday. Yes, please share. Tell us how much you made and tell us the details of your deal. We would love to. How much did you make? We would love to hear the details of your deal. Eric Carney, hey, but Tristan Ford has a question. I don't have a lot of time to get out driving for dollars. What other ways do you recommend for me to get deals? Also, can I market my business without having an LLC?
Yeah, you can market your business without having an LLC and say you was driving for, and at some point you want to get one, but.
He said he didn't have a lot of time to drive for dollars. So he wants to know, what else do you recommend?
Well,
you're going to have to make time.
You're going to have to make time if you don't have a budget to spend on either direct mail, cold calling, and or bandit signs. So you're going to have to make time. If you don't have the money to do one of those. We're only talking, when I say only, but we're talking about, as little as maybe $300 to put a cold calling campaign together. Same thing with bandit signs, that price, put a decent number of bandit signs, but direct mail is going to be quite a bit more expensive to do it right. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. Ginger G, hey, on Facebook. Okay, she has a lengthy question. It is, I call the yellow postcard place. I asked how to get lists for them to make the postcards. They said they would give me a list at 10 cents per address and name. She also gave me a list of criteria to fill out. Question is, what should I fill out to send back to the representative so that I can get my list of addresses and get my marketing going? She did cut and paste it. I'm just gonna go off of it. She wanted to know, do you include, what would you include? She has like the vacant properties, desired zip codes. Do you want bank owned foreclosures? What do you want to exclude? What should she target on this list without looking at all this? Bedrooms, bathrooms, current home price, equity, all that stuff. What's the most important thing for the list?
Okay, I'm not sure what service you're using, but I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna tell you what I would recommend you do. I can only go by how I search. All this stuff that they're asking, I guess those are legitimate questions, but you're gonna, I do it by zip code, right? First, so you pick the zip codes you want to target. I'm gonna do absentee owners. I don't care if they're out of state or in state. I'm going to do single family residents, and I want to exclude corporate, and I want to exclude trust, and that's it. So that should produce the owner's name, their mailing address, the target property, and the zip codes that I'm targeting. Now, depending on how large the list is, you can break it down a little more and choose a certain square footage. I would probably normally do anywhere from 1,200 square feet up to 3,500 square feet. But that's my market. Your market may be different, where houses are commonly a lot larger or commonly a lot smaller. So that could be taken into consideration. Now, what you can do is you just simply go to listsource.com, which I have videos on YouTube showing you how to use it. Just go to YouTube, put in ListSource and the Flipman, and you should see any of my videos that I've referenced ListSource. I'm not getting any money from them or anything, but I'm just telling you what I use. The other thing is, if you're going to do this, is better than yellow letters, because this is the picture of the actual seller's property on the postcard, right?
Right.
That's automatically going to get their attention, because you just sent them a mailer out saying, showing them, hey, wow, they put up, this is my house. Who is this? It's all direct mail boils down to getting attention, right?
Right.
Attention spurs calls or more calls. Everybody's not going to call you, but that's ideal. So how to access this, just go to mailtoflip.com, mailtoflip.com to access. You don't have to do it. Just recommend it to you. That it's a better option. No question about it. Better results.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Let me hide that question. Her question was big, guys, and I didn't realize until Krista just pointed out to me that it actually covered the screen completely. So I hope you heard the answer to it. So want to say thank you, Shaq. Hey, Charles, ADJ, and Aaron. Thank you. Okay, so Rail Kush said that he just got his signs, but he thinks they're too big to put on the poles because he got 18 by 24s, and we suggest 9 by 24s. Okay. Do you think I should just put them in the ground around businesses and freeways?
What, 10 cents?
Yeah, he got bigger than what you normally recommend, but they're still doable. They can still be put on a pole.
They can still be put on what I recommend. I like to say just be visible. You do some major highways. You don't want to do all, because it just makes it easy for those that are going to pull them down. But just be tactful within the neighborhoods, within shopping centers, off freeways, bank drive-throughs, fast food drive-throughs. That will allow you to want to put them where they order their food or where they're going to pick up their food or exit the parking lot. So all drive-throughs don't fit that criteria where you can actually place signs. So keep that in mind. But just be visible but invisible. in a sense. You don't want to make it that easy for people to pull your signs down by being on all of the main drags.
Someone asked a good question on that. The criteria for your list that you were going over, you said that you would exclude corporate. They wanted to know, why would you avoid corporate?
Well, it's a numbers game. If someone hasn't taken the time out to basically, whenever people put things in properties in LLCs or corporations or whatever, they're trying to hide. And now some of us for tax reasons, but others they're trying to hide. So, and it may go still to someone's residence or whatever, but I'm just going to reduce my cost. And again, it just boils down to numbers. I'm going to take the risk of contacting only people that display in their name that, hey, I own this property, their actual name. So that's the reason behind it, just a numbers game. I just think the percentages are higher. You can test it. You can send out to all corporate and send out to all people that have their regular name on there, see which one gives you the better results. I'm just telling you the reason why I do it.
Okay. Hey, Crystal, see you say you're in the hospital. I hope all is well. I don't know if she expecting, but they don't. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go before. Don't mean she having a baby right now.
Okay.
Amen.
Next time I have one, will be the first.
Yes, the next time you have one, it will be your first. Anyway, Eric wants to know in regards to Dealulator. Does it scrub the list, or do you just buy the list through it?
What do you mean? Talking about for phone numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's going to, well, it's only going to pull a phone number that it can pull, and it's going to tell you whenever it completes or whatever. So just keep that in mind if I understand this question.
Well, he just wants to know, is it just generating a list for him, or is it actually doing the work, like the skip trace and all that stuff?
Well, yeah, it gives you that option through the pin jobs section of it in the contacts.
Okay, so that's a feature within a feature.
Yeah,
you choose what you want it to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Ali has a question, and this is on the Facebook group. And you mention it oftentimes, but he wanted to know, starting out, would you recommend war zone or middle class neighborhoods? Now, in all honesty, what neighborhoods do you do most of your deals?
I guess most of mine used to be in the war zones when I started years ago, but now I guess they would be considered, lower and upper middle class, I guess.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter, wherever they come from, it doesn't matter to me. If you can buy what you can, find buyers in the war zone, and just you're gonna be able to do deals. You know what I'm saying? It just buyers don't seem like there's as many. Not saying there aren't any. It's just as many as it was when I first started. But the financing was different for just people that want to owner occupied financing was different back then too. So we have to keep that in mind.
Okay, you're welcome, Eric. Let's see here. Going on YouTube, the question is going to be, can you wholesale a house that's under Chapter 13 bankruptcy? I've been trying to find the mortgages and liens against the property because the lady doesn't know.
I don't think so, if it's tied into the bankruptcy. What's 13 and what's 7? Tell me the difference.
7 is a complete wipe.
You don't pay nobody back?
You don't pay nobody back.
And 13 is
you rearrange the consolidation, and you're paying it off after a certain time frame.
I've never, doesn't mean you can't, but I've never been able to do one with a bankruptcy. I've never been able to do it, so I'm not sure. What you may want to do in that situation is, depending on how, I guess, the debt and how long it's going to take to pay it out, that may be a lease option opportunity or something like that if the property is not occupied or she's willing to move out if she is in there. So, but as far as a just straight wholesale deal, you can't do it because the bankruptcy will prevent it, from my understanding, without the bankruptcy judge approving it. You know, so which that may be a possibility because it may allow to pay off everything, just depends. So that may be a possibility,
Danetta Kitchen is joining us from Las Vegas. It is her first time, so welcome. She's a newbie in the business. She just started educating herself with your videos, Ty, and she's extremely grateful. And she says thank you so much, and she can't wait to get Gator.
Okay, yeah.
Get Gator, Danetta.
We'll break out the little Gator.
But then she in the kitchen, getting Gator in the kitchen. Oh my gosh, I love it. Kitchen. Yeah, you got it on today. You look so nice. Look at you. He got some muscles, y'all. And he don't smell like baby milk.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is.
The artist is great.
I know, right? Hey, Greedy, thank you. Question. Let's go over here to YouTube. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that one either. Okay. Would you suggest looking at lien properties if you're just starting out? And this is Courtney from South Carolina.
Well, that's one of the things that you can do in the deregulator, aka prop string, is you can just identify properties with liens, and depending on the county, but it'll get into what the lien is. So yeah, you can just target properties with liens on them. You can use the actual tool that I promote from promoting the out of to just identify those type of properties, because a lot of times that's going to show motivation. What that lien it just depending on what the lien is. Now, sometimes liens are previously attached to a property or whatever, and there may not be any real motivation there, but it can definitely be a particular niche that you can target for sure. It may show a level of motivation from the owner.
Okay, so Eric has a question, and it's pretty, I think it's interesting. He says,
Same Eric.
Yeah, just give me a second. This is a question. Just listen. What do I do if an investor doesn't like me making too much money off his cash deals? He buys a lot of houses, so he's found a cash buyer, but this guy has capped it and said he's only going to give $1,000 off of houses up to $4,000 and $2,000 per high value home.
Stop! I ain't got to stop. I don't want to deal with him. That's no one I want to deal with.
Even if it's somebody that is going to buy the house, though? I mean, it's still a guarantee. Well, you say half of zero is nothing.
Nah, but it's more buyers than him out there.
Okay.
Eric, don't worry about the buyers. Y'all ain't listening to me.
I hear you.
Do not worry about the buyer side of it. Find great deals, and buyers will be begging you. You don't ever have to talk to that guy again if you find great deals.
Okay, focus on the deals. Worry about
that's the hard part.
Finding the deals.
It's not difficult to give away money. I know that's a broken record, but guys, it is not difficult to give away money. When you give away large sums of equity in a piece of real estate, people are begging you to take that. They're begging you to give them the opportunity to take that money. But it is difficult to get people to give you large sums of equity within a piece of real estate.
Okay.
Screw that guy. Don't delete his number.
Okay. Well, fine. We're going to delete his number. But tagging off of that, we have Mr. Israel who wants to know what exactly is equity and how does it determine the deal or not a deal?
Well, equity is basically what's against the property, whether it's a mortgage or lien or whatever, versus its value. So, and then that could be a little subjective depending on the condition, but we're just going to use equity in the sense of what it would be worth in excellent condition. So if a property is worth $100,000 and there's nothing owed on it, the equity is $100,000. But if a property is worth $100,000 and there's $30,000 and as far as a mortgage or a tax lien or whatever, then the equity is $70,000. That's the equity. The difference in what's owed and what it's worth. Okay. That's a pretty good.
That was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that difference. It's no different than. People. Only reason I guess they ask is because people throw that word around, equity in the house.
Well,
you can have your equity. You can get your loans off your equity. Then when you're talking about cars, you're like, as soon as you drive off the lot, you got negative equity.
Using that as far as a car's example, if you buy a car brand new and you use a loan to buy it and you don't put anything down, yeah, you're in negative equity because you can't say if you pay $35,000 for a car, and as soon as they do that title work, is yours. They won't. You can't come back the next day.
Get $35,000.
You can't. They wouldn't pay you $35,000 for it.
Right. So you're negative. You're down.
You're negative now. But if you went into the dealership and paid $35,000 for it cash, you still couldn't get 35 for it, but you may can get 33 for it. You know what I'm saying? So that 33 would be your equity in that car. If that, and more people maybe can relate to that. Because more people have cars than own real estate. So.
Okay, makes sense. Off-roader has been in a drought for about 5 months. Needs a little bit of motivation now. I think he was doing really good maybe when we first started because he had a couple of deals going. So he's in his down period. Any suggestions for motivation?
Well, I guess at the end of the day, are your calls still the same as far as the number of calls that you're receiving that you were receiving before? And if so, how many are you receiving? You know, I can probably tell you just right there if I knew that information.
Lorenzo Smith, and this is from the Facebook group, makes a good point. He says, or she, I'm sorry. Well, he is a senior. I find out of state owners in war zones are a lot more willing to sell because of poor management.
Of what type of properties?
Single family.
Oh, yeah. I got several that I need to follow up tomorrow. I'm going to spend the first part of the morning properties in war zone that I've somewhat been neglecting. They've been giving prices that probably will work for me because I know I can get them down a little more, but I need to follow up on them. I've started a little different campaign to try to find more buyers and edit those areas or whatever. But yeah, you know, and part of it is because in the war zones, a lot of those properties don't have mortgages on them. I don't know if this is factual or not, so it's going to take in consideration D properties all the way up to A properties or A neighborhoods or D. But one of the first things that I learned in the business that 50% of the houses or single family residences in the U.S. there's nothing owed on them or whatever. Now I don't know if that's fact or not, but the guy that was saying it, I'm assuming he knew what he's dead now, but he was 40 years in the game, had made millions, so I assumed he knew what he was talking about. But part of the reason why in quote unquote war zones is that you can get those type of deals because a lot of times they don't owe anything on
them. Okay. You got your calculator ready, Mr. Dealulator?
Yeah,
we have is it a deal question? This is from Miss Amicia Freeman. I have a motivated seller. Y'all use that word a lot around here, and they don't be motivated, but we don't keep on reading. They don't be motivated. Okay. I have a motivated seller that has a single family home with a 119 mortgage. She is asking 120. She said the house was appraised for 150. I am kind of stuck on my approach. I am new. I have seen pictures. It doesn't look like it needs repairs. What can I do to help her and profit as a wholesaler?
Well, if the number just using, you can't go by what she says. She may be underestimating or overestimating, but assuming the 150 number that she gave you works as an ARV, right. If you take $150,000 times 70%, that leaves 105. No repairs have been subtracted. Your money has risen. So she said she wanted 120. You know, so if she's not going to go below that amount, then, you know, you can just thank her for a time, let her know if anything changes to give you a call back. Other than that, you'll probably, again, we don't even know what the repairs are. We'll just assume that the repairs are $15,000. That puts it at 90. Throw your money in there. So you probably need that property at 75 grand to make it work. Assuming that 150 ARV amount that she gave you, but you want to do your own due diligence. And one of the videos that you can go watch is top 3 ways to calculate ARV, put the flip man behind that. It should pull up. That's one of my more popular videos. Or you can use Dealulator to come up with a bag. And understand about the bags on Dealulator. I don't care what service that you're using. It's going to give you an estimated value. I wouldn't recommend just automatically going by that. You want to dig into the numbers and look at the actual comparable sales once you go into the details of any particular property that you're analyzing. And you want to look at the street map and look at the actual sales and see how close they are to your target property to come up with an actual number. So, but that doesn't sound like a deal to answer the question.
So not really a deal. And Miss Amici, I know a lot of subscribers feel like when they get that call that they have to do something to help. It's not your responsibility to, I mean, you can tell them no.
Well, it's not that they have to do it, they just want a deal. They want to make some money.
Yeah, but you have to see that it's not a deal.
But realistically, you have to, realistically, if 100 people call you in a month, only probably 5 of those are going to be deals. So that's a 95% fail rate. So you almost, well, you know, almost, you'll start to expect it not to be a deal when you talk to people, because most people, when you're wholesaling, most people are going to want more than what makes sense to you, or what makes sense to make the deal work for you. So, but when you're only getting trickles in, that's what makes the business so frustrating. When you're only just talking to one person every couple of days, or one a week, or even 5 a week, that's not enough. It's just not enough. You might get fortunate and fall into a deal, but consistently, it's not going to produce the number that you're looking for if you're only talking to that small number of people.
Okay.
On single family, anyway. So.
All right. Krishanda Foreman has a question. I'm going to post it, but I'm going to take it down because it might take up a bit of the screen there. She has a good problem. She's on Facebook. She said, I just found a cash buyer for my first property. I put it under contract on the 8th and found a buyer yesterday. But this buyer claims she is waiting on her money to come in the mail. So do I need to get earnest money? Because I still have other people calling.
No. Money to come in the mail? What kind of money? From
I don't know.
Clubs and Clearinghouse?
I don't know. She might want that $5,000 a week for the rest of your life.
I know somebody did that.
Really, where they at? They single?
It's female.
She's single.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just not really, but she's single. Okay. Anyway, so but she's about to tie up her property with a buyer who doesn't even have the money.
Yeah, you don't do that, man. You just don't. If you got other people calling, you have, well, you don't have to do anything. But what I would recommend is that the person that you take serious, number one, on how fast they say they can close, and they're gonna put up earnest money. Somebody say, I can close. What you want to hear from a buyer is that, I can close soon as we get a clear title. We're talking 4 or 5 days, a week at the most. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear, I gotta wait on this or that, or I need an inspection on 14 days.
She's pulling it out of her 401k, she said.
You might want to wait on her. She needs to get your earnest money though. How long is that going to take though?
Well, if you take the money out of your 401k and you ask for it to be wired and you accept all the penalties, that's 3 days. Yeah. Actually, the next day they wire.
Well, somebody, the 1 or 2 times that's happened with me, they normally gonna pay full price of what you're asking to. So you might want to wait on that.
Okay, well that switches it up.
That switches it up there.
Just a little bit. Okay,
that's the kind of you like right there.
Yeah, she going all in. She taking out the retirement for it. So Krishanda, you might have a deal, but don't let her tie it up too long. And I would have another buyer in my back pocket ready to go. Basically, if she doesn't say something within 5 business days, then you need to move on to the next one. I mean, especially if it is a deal, and obviously it is.
And I would make that earnest money non-refundable also.
Yeah, most definitely. See, they thought I was funny. I wasn't playing though. Okay. Gregory has a is it a deal question, and this is from YouTube. He says, "Hey Ty, I'm gonna say it for you, Gregory and Adria." Okay. He has a church apartment under contract. The ARV is between 97 and 107. He has it under contract for 35. Sounds good so far. Repairs are about 15K. He wants to know what should he list it for with the buyer. He has quite a bit of wiggle room there, but he said it's a church apartment.
Say 35?
He has it under contract for 35.
Yeah, I would probably put it out there maybe like 49. See what happens.
49.50. He can either go down or up, and that gives if the 107 and put it between 97 and 107 and 100.
I did it at 97. I did it at lower numbers.
So pitch it at
49.
49.
Yeah.
Gregory, it sounds like you might have a deal. Let us make sure. Make sure you let us know how that works out for you. Sounds good. Let's see here. Going to our Facebook group. Chris Jackson was just commenting. He said that he had a deal in Birmingham. A buyer told him no at the $29,000 and offered $14,000 instead. He said no and sold it the next day for $33,000 to Spartan. I don't know who that is, but to someone else. So I guess he was commenting on, don't worry about the buyer. If the buyer knocks your price down, go on to another one. So, but also be willing to do the wiggle room. We're talking about drastic differences here, y'all. We're talking about a buyer that only wants to pay you like a bird dogging fee. And if you're talking about $1,000 or $2 between making and breaking a deal, then that's the wiggle room you need to be able to work within. But these are, okay. Oh, Darnell has a question. Darnell asks, is there an avenue to better understand the tax assessor website when the county isn't much help? He doesn't understand what he's looking at when he goes down there and pulls those records, I guess. DoYouLater.com. DoYouLater.com. Somebody also asked how much was Do You Later. You do have a 5-day free trial period.
Just go to the site. I have the price on the site. The reason I don't quote it here because this video is going to play over years from now, I guess. And it may change. You say, well, you said.
I know that, but I was about to say, go to the site.
Yeah, go to the site. Yeah, you go to the site.
I was in my commercial voice. Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Oh, no. I was reading. We good. Oh, yeah. We good. We good.
Okay. Let's see here. Going to YouTube. Glenn wants to know who is responsible for getting a clear title, or better yet, maybe checking to see if the title is clear.
The title company. You knew that answer.
I knew that answer, but they're not asking me questions. They're asking you, boss.
All right. The title company.
At what time? Oh my gosh. Hey, Instagrammers, I 100% wholeheartedly apologize. I will say that. Yeah, I didn't even realize we had grammars going on. Well, I did, and my grammar is horrible. But I just saw a big question come through on there. If you would repost it so I can read your question from Instagram. Again, I apologize. I was okay. Crystal says, take a moment and again to explain what Deal You Later is in full, because a lot of people are asking questions about this awesome service that you're promoting here.
Well, I'll read right here from the site. Oh.
I don't think that's exactly what Deal You Later is. That's something else.
Oh.
Hey, Connie.
Excuse me. Well, basically, it's a they're basically a real estate tool. It helps you. You can evaluate properties. You can locate properties that have high equity. You can build a cash buyers list and a pin for a good number of phone numbers. Obviously, you can determine who's the owner. You can see their mailing address, whether it's the same or the target property's address. It has a deal analyzer and needs a little work. You can see pre-foreclosures for a particular market, obviously foreclosures, MLS properties. Again, you can get the seller's phone numbers through an PN service through there. It has liens, properties with liens on them, whether that's tax liens or just liens in general. Properties that are auctions, free and clear properties. Those are going to be the highlights. And if you go to the site, there's a tutorial video there that's an hour and 45 minutes long that I did with one of the support guys, and he went through everything. And then I have another video on there, how to build a cash buyers list on there also. I'm going to add the one that I did on yesterday to it also. But it's just full of information. It's just a tool to make this business easier. It's not going to do deals for you if you're running in the software that says it's going to do deals for you, or even implies that. It's just a tool. You know, tools, and there are a lot of good ones out there. I can't say that it isn't, but the tool is only going to be as good if you use it. In
your video, did you go with the CRM tool in there?
Yeah, I did. I need that. You know, I did also. This phone is a tool that can be used for making money if it's used properly. Now, it can be used for a lot of foolishness also, but it can be used for making money. It's a tool, but you have to use it. So that's it.
Okay. And yes, Charles, I did say for Netflix, but what I meant to say was, yes, you would be better suited to subscribe to dealyoulater.com than your cable service. Let's just go with that route, okay? Yeah, because you just checked.
Now, let me just say this, which I said in the videos, but as of right now, it's really only laptop and PC friendly. It's not responsive to smartphones and tablets. You can use it on those, but it's going to be very difficult to use. And part of it because it's a mass of information. But they're working on it to get it responsive for those, whatever. So I don't know what the timeline is on that, but it's best used on a PC and or a laptop. A lot of people say, well, I don't have one. Well, you know, the public library still exists as if we speak the date of this video. And, you know, family and friends, you know, you got to make it work, make it happen, make it happen.
All right. And Darian, thank you for joining us. I see you on YouTube. It's called Deal You Later, dealyoulater.com. And Mike Key mentioned that in that video that he posted in regards to how Deal You Later works. He did go over the CRM tool in there. Now on Instagram, the real OEMS, I know, hey to you, post your question again. I just mentioned that you're.
We look right on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just not holding it.
I'm just not holding it right.
Okay.
Post that again, the real OEMS, so I can read your question. But yours truly on Instagram wants to know, does the seller have to own the property in order to wholesale it?
Well, I'm saying.
What?
Well,
does the seller have to actually own the property in order to wholesale it?
Well,
it's kind of a tricky question because technically, if they owe money to the bank, but they wholesale it for less than.
Well, no, they still own it. It's just a lien on it against it from the bank. The seller is the owner. The seller is the owner.
Mm-hmm.
The owner is the seller. Those are the same people. You can't sell something you don't own. Now you can transact or broker something that you don't own. Basically what you're doing as a wholesaler by controlling with an agreement, you know, for a temporary time frame. But the actual sale, when the deed is transferred over to a buyer, the seller has to participate in that. The owner, seller and owner, the same people. If I understood your question correctly.
Okay, Star Mocha YouTube posted again. I might have scrolled down and I do not see it. But Star Mocha, if you hear me, please go ahead and put that. And no, Ty is not trying to be a comedian. He's not funny. I got that wrong. I'm the funny one here. Yes. And website, Patrice on Instagram. What website were you guys talking about? Deal You Later, guys. Everybody that's subscribing, that's in the chat boxes, if you hear me and you know what we're talking about, for those that are maybe not understanding, will you please put dealyoulater.com in the chat box so everybody else can see what we're talking about? DEALU later.
It's a
play on calculator with deal and calculator.
Well, how you spell calculator?
CALCULATOR.
Okay, so remove the CALC and put deal in front of it.
I know where it is. It's on your shirt.
Yeah, it's on my shirt. That's why I keep doing this.
Yeah, they see your shirt.
Okay.
You just want them to see your shirt. They like your shirt.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, and you can get the new T-shirt we came out with. It's dude I buy houses. So you can go to flipman.net and I tell you where you can go to get those. You can go to the FOB, which is the fear of being broke. That's TheFobb.com, and you can get the fear of being broke T-shirt. And but you can also get the dude I buy house. It has a little ugly character. I have one in a black character and a white character. I think that covers most people. I ain't do Asian or Hispanic, but I think you can, ethnicities. We, what I'm saying. So, but I think you'll like that particular shirt. Got something I'm working on, and that's part of what I'm working on now locally. Some of y'all will probably see it later. You'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. But anyway, I'm working on it. We're going to see how this turns out. I got another marketing way to try to generate more seller leads or whatever. And I can't believe someone else hasn't already done something like this. Maybe there's a reason why. But
Rose, now I'm expecting you to spell it right. You didn't even spell it right. Rose. Thank you, Ginger. I see you there. And yes, Crystal, you have posted it. Mr. Tori, and I see that you posted it in that group as well. I don't see where anybody did it on Instagram, and I do see it on YouTube. Thank you guys for being team players. Mr. Gigi wants to know. He says, I know you're very big bandit signs, and I am too, but as your mail to flip and cold calling campaigns, giving your bandit sign campaign a run for its money. Is competition, which are the city workers, are removing them fast.
Well, the direct mail is a different animal in itself, and it's more expensive to do it. What was the other thing? The flip by phone?
Cold calling and mail to flip.
The cold calling, if you're consistent with it, it's going to outperform all of it. It'll outperform bandit signs and or direct mail combined, because it's so inexpensive to do it. And you can literally, like with bandit signs, you got to order them, wait till they get here, then you got to put them out. I'm not telling you not to do them now, because I do them every weekend. But I'm just comparing it to with direct mail. You have to pay for it, just send it out. It's expensive, but it does work, but it's expensive. Not for everybody or whatever. But with cold calling, you can literally buy a list, append the phone numbers, using the recommended services that I recommend, whether it's Dear You Later or one of the other ones that I recommend in the course. And you can literally start making phone calls like 30 minutes from now. And then it's only going to cost you as little as maybe $250 to $300 to get a list that could possibly last you for 2 months or whatever that you can call. But now the flip side of that is, if you're like me, I'm not a cold caller, but I'm smart enough, I think, to either partner with someone and or hire someone to make those calls for me or whatever. But it's, that's going to, it's just so inexpensive, and it can happen so fast that, it can just change the situation quick. But you have to be consistent with it, and, you got to be prepared to get cussed out a little bit or whatever, whoever's doing it for you. But it works, it's not going to be faster than that and cheaper. And just the time, but it has to be done.
Okay, the question on Instagram, a subscriber said they were sorting mail as we speak, and they wanted to know, how long do you assign a contract?
I normally do 30 days. I got to probably ask for time on one right now, some more time on one. I think I didn't negotiate an attractive enough deal, so. But
average 30 days.
30 days. No, I'm not gonna do anything less than that. If I might do like 30, I might like do, because if I think somebody's gonna take them a minute when I email the contract to sign it, I may do like 35, 36. Just to get those days of them taking so long to get it back to me or whatever. So.
Okay. Hey Michelle, thanks for joining us. It has been a while since I've seen your name. Missed you too. The gator is over there beside Tosh. Michelle asked where the gator was. There's Ty's twin. Hey, little Ty. That's little Ty and big Ty. Figure out which one is which.
Hello, son.
Yep.
How are you today?
Getting gator. Okay. Shine, don't you yell at Adrian in your rocky voice. My name is Adria, not Adrian. I've gotten that all my life. Yo, Adrian. Adria. It's not the same. No N.
I actually thought it was Adrian until recently. And I've been knowing you almost 20 years.
Wow. So you think I've just been mispronouncing?
When did you start at Best, huh?
2003, so 2002, 2001, 2001.
But I wasn't there when I came like, okay, we've been on each other about 17.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, wow. You hadn't had Miller when you were pregnant?
No, when I came, I didn't have Miller.
Okay.
While I was there.
Okay.
And you were so nice. You know what I remember?
What?
Is that everybody had gotten me stuff for like a baby shower or whatever, and then I came back after Millie had her surgery because she was born with the defect and all that. And you came to my desk and you was like, "Sorry to hear about your baby girl." You gave me a $200 check, and I didn't even know you from scrap. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was like at my time. You gave me a $200 check.
It was written off my account.
Wait a minute. I cashed it. It don't matter. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
You wrote me a $200 check when I came back after being gone because she was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was so wow. Yeah. You don't remember. I remember. And that's why we're friends forever.
What year was she born?
2003.
What month?
She was born in July.
Oh, I was. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
I probably did that then.
You had already started things had started booming for you.
Yeah, I know in 2001.
End of 2003, and that's when you put me on. Okay. That's when he put me on to this, guys. He was like, "Hey, you knew mom. You got a little one.
Yeah.
You need to supplement your income." And boom, I was hip to the hip. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. July of 2003. I was. Yeah. Okay.
Give your gator kid. No, you nasty. I mean, ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway, okay.
Oh, you went out?
No.
It's down there.
Where? Here.
Might be there. No, do the well, it's there, but do the Chrome. Do the Chrome.
This?
Yeah.
Okay. So next question. Does Delia later work for any states?
Yeah. Now it's only going to be as good as the
tax assessor's records in your city.
Yeah. Say it again.
Delia later is going to be as good as the tax assessor's records in your city. So just keep that in mind when you're pulling that information. I know some people were saying that they only saw so many comps or so many numbers for the properties, but that's just because it's pulling from the information from
if it's in a particular area where there are not a lot of transactions, there's nothing to pull. Comparable sales, aka comps, it can only pull what's being recorded. Now, and on top of that, it's only going to provide what's being provided from the county that you're targeting, how they produce information to the public. If they're slow about it, it's going to be slow. If they're fast about it, it's going to be fast. It'll be within a few days or a week or two of a transaction that's happened. So I always preference that. Even talking beyond Delia with Land Glide and all this other stuff, it's only going to be as accurate as current as the county that you're dealing in, how they provide it to the public.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Amina said we wasn't going to kiss the gator. That's what I said. She said, I beg your pardon. Yeah, we got to clean the gator up first.
This gator is clean.
Yeah, all that dust is flying off his nose. He just a little
crocodile.
See, no.
Hey, I don't know if any of you all watch Sanford and Son. One of my favorite episodes when Big Money Grip had came back to town and said Lamont was his son. So just go to YouTube and Google it. And if you know anything about the show, Fred Sanford was married to Esther's. That's how they were, related to sister-in-law, but the wife had died. And so the man came back and said basically that Fred's son was his son, that he had snuck in and, did what he needed to do to have a baby with Fred's future wife, which was Lamont's mother.
Elizabeth.
And so, so long story short, basically they found out that he wasn't lying. It wasn't it wasn't Elizabeth's room he had snuck in, it was Esther's. And so, and you know, Esther did what she did or whatever. So Fred told me, Grip, I was mad with you, but he said, and now I feel sorry for you because you don't know the difference between a woman or a crocodile. It was hilarious. You gotta see it.
I know.
Is that a woman or a crocodile?
And in the words of Grady Wilson, also on Sanford and Son, nope. It wasn't that funny.
Hey, so go to you youngsters, go to YouTube, Google Big Money Grip, Sanford and Son.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean,
Daddy's. I think in the episode it's called Daddy's Baby, Mama's Baby.
You are not gonna know the names of the episodes of Sanford and Son.
It's called Mama's Baby, Daddy's Maybe. I think it's what.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Let's say it.
Greatest sitcom ever.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. I mean, I know you were just kidding, love. Let's see. Who is responsible for getting the city to city tax payoff at closing? Oh, the title company will handle all that. On your contract, it says minus any taxes or liens against the property. And so once they pull it, hopefully the seller knows that they owe taxes. But if not, they will know by the time they get to the closing table, and they are responsible. It comes out of their funds, minus any taxes and liens. Just make sure that's, part of your contract.
Oh, and I'm supposed to do hopefully they can come on. So if you don't have it, just doesn't happen. But I'm supposed to do an interview with a couple, I won't even tell it. Whenever you see the YouTube alert. Oh, by the way, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you are alerted whenever I upload new videos and when we go live on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the so you are notified, get the notifications of when we go live where I upload new videos. So stay tuned this weekend. I may have one to come up that's going to be highly, highly inspirational. I know I do I like to do content videos that you can use, but sometimes you just need to hear someone else's story and what they went through to do that first deal. So hopefully we can put that together.
Okay. AW, I don't know. AW said, "Where's Renika? Where's Renika?"
Oh, she's sick.
Oh. Okay. Do you know if Deal Later has lien amount data?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Y'all just got to visit it. Go to deallater.com and watch the video that Ty's posted, giving you a run through on how it works, because it seems like everything y'all are asking, it actually does. So
yes.
That
video that I put out yesterday, I went into some of that. The one that I put out about the apartments, I went into some of that. So the most recent video before this one, find and flip apartment buildings. If you go there and put Flipman behind it or put Deal Later behind it, you'll see that video that I released on yesterday.
Hello, Phil. You play yes? That's right. Jerry Blackwell just closed on a big deal. He told us about it last week. He's going to be signing up for a one-on-one mentorship for commercial wholesaling with none other than Ty. Yeah. And is there promotion or sale going on for that? Jerry, just message Flipman at flipman.net when you get ready to sign up for that program.
Just call or text me, man.
Call or text, as he just said, and y'all handle that. I have nothing to do with that. But way to go. Proud of you, Jerry. Tell us about that deal. Let's see here. I was just about to read that question.
Oh,
From Jarvis, he wanted to know, how do you put together a deal involving multiple properties? I
have a cousin I grew up with named Jarvis. We call him Jock. So how do you do what now? Put together a deal involving multiple properties. What is pen? Well, it really doesn't depend. You mean multiple single family properties? I'm going to put all of them under separate contracts. If there's if the seller isn't requiring you to buy all of them at once to do the deal on, you definitely want to do separate contracts. I'm going to do them anyway.
Okay, Patrice, yes. There is additional fees for different things within Deal Later as well.
Well, it really just only the phone number, the email, appending. Append simply means that you upload a list of names, fund, and addresses, and they search for the phone number if it's available, email address. So those are separate charges, only 10 cents each. So I can't quote that as a right of this video. And it's going to initially charge you for the bunch, but it'll credit you back only for the one that it only pulls. So
You love this guy. His name is Exo Tony. You wanna know what he said?
What is that?
He said, I'm glad I'm not the only one who can recall Sanford and Son episodes. How about when Fred told Esther, Esther, I can stick your face in some dough and make
gorilla cookies.
I was trying to Okay. So yes, he is a true Sanford.
Oh, you're a true. Yeah, he gonna quote that in them first three seasons. Just classic.
Yes, but I like to point out that most people don't understand
what
the Esther that most people know is not the original Esther.
Yes,
she is not. She was the one that everybody remembers from.
But she came on. But she came. It was another lady on there. She was. She was the original. As he had another. It was another.
Her name was Esther. She was not the original. Esther.
No, her name was Ethel. Her name was Ethel. She was the one.
So you saying Elizabeth had two sisters, Ethel and Esther?
She had multiple sisters. She had multiple sisters. You're talking about Ethel when Fred won the money from the numbers. Lamar won. Okay, they they do the numbers in the neighborhood back then, and Lamont wouldn't let Fred bet $10 to win $6,000 if he hit the number. And he hit the number, he bet $1 and won $600. And so everybody started coming over begging for money and stuff. And the sister that you're talking about, her name was Ethel, not Esther. Okay, she says, my gallbladder. And Fred said, I wonder what's taking that taxi so long, even going to Las Vegas. And so Lamar went out and bet, this is my Aunt Ethel, Pop. You know you got to do this. So he gave her the money, I think it was $150 or whatever. So I don't know what kind of surgery that was for $150. But that was in 1972 though. But anyway, so it's my gallbladder. Friends, I wonder what's taking that taxi so long. Oh my God, that stuff is so funny.
Have y'all not ever seen him laugh and smile this hard? You see, it has to do with Sanford.
My nephew, I remember he's 20, he's about to be 26. He came up and stayed with me one time when he was probably about 13 or 14. And I was making him watch Sanford and Son. I had the whole DVD collection. And he said, you really think this is funny, don't you? I said, you don't think this is funny? But now he's older, he's grown now. He said, I get it now. He didn't get it at 13, but he said, I get it now. Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Thank you, Jarvis. It wasn't no effort.
It is an effort. I'll bet money. Bet money.
Can I borrow some money?
Look at the episode where Fred got on the pink jacket and he hit the number, won 6 big ones. And the sister's name Ethel, the aunt is named Ethel.
Eric Carney is our movie quote guru. Eric, let me know the original.
I may not know nothing about this stuff. I know about Sanford and Son. I know about that foolishness.
Okay.
Let's get back on track.
Yes. Fire. I wish that was her name. It's F-Y-A-H. It's probably Fia, but if her name was Fire Diamond, that would be an awesome name. I could go work with that name. Okay. Yeah. Okay. She says, I watch you guys YouTube videos all the time trying to learn how this works. That's how you do it. Watch the videos, 270 plus videos. We're here every week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, but it's been like 6:10. Anyway, but every week. And you'll learn. We have the Facebook group, over 13,000 members, wholesaling with the Flippinars.
Almost 15,000.
Why am I always behind?
I don't know why. You like
2,000 behind.
You like last Saturday behind.
Well, excuse me. Anyway, so welcome.
14,600 or so.
Fire Diamond. Miranda Belthrop has a question. She wants to know, what if you find a potential home, but it's like 5 heirs involved? It's an heir property.
Ooh.
They all have to agree. They all have to sign off on it.
You got to get everybody, number one, to agree to sell.
Agree on a price.
And then agree on the price. And actually show up.
Everybody has to show up. Now, does she need to double check and make sure there's not one who actually controls everything?
Well, that's what a will is for. A will is going to be probated. That's going to be recorded against that estate, which that property should be included in that estate. Now, it helps the title company if you can produce that will, then they can search the files, within the courthouse, make it a little easier to find and show that it was, probated before the person passed. But otherwise, yeah, it just, I probably have to get everybody to agree on it. And hopefully it was only 5 kids and none of them died, because if one of them died, then it splinters off to their heirs. So if they had 4 kids, so hopefully all that. So now you got 9 people involved. It could just keep going.
Just leave it where it is.
So, but normally those properties, if you can get everybody to agree, those are good deals, because most people give up on them.
Yeah. It is wholesaling with the Flipman.
Wholesaling real estate with the Flipman. You can go to Flipman. Oh, we don't talk about, oh my God, every week I forget. We need to start having you a list to help me. Flipmanpodcast.com. Some of you all just find it in any way, because podcasts have become so more popular recently. You can just run into my stuff, but we are on iHeartRadio. We're on iTunes, so you can access with the Android and or a Apple product, or Apple device. But flipmanpodcast.com, you can access the podcast. But also you can access the Facebook group, which is a closed group. We pretty much let anyone in. As long as you don't get in there and start advertising, you're good. If not, we're going to ask you to stop. Otherwise, we're approving all the posts or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yes. Wow. He was going over all the social media and the podcast, iHeartRadio. What was it? Something else he had. But anyway, I'm sitting here Googling to see if there was actually something wrong here. Oh, I stand corrected. Her name was Ethel Winfield. Great.
Is that a great truck right there?
And number 10.
Yeah, they want you to move it.
Just the keys in.
There you
go.
Oh, here, boo.
I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on outside. You just threw my keys across and you're going to break my keys. They were asking me about the iHeartRadio and the podcast. You were talking about that.
What about it? Go to flipmanpodcast.com. You can access, or you just go to iHeart and just search Flipman. It should pull up. Or if you go to iTunes and search for Flipman, my podcast should pull up. Okay. We don't promote that though. We got to do a better job of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Erica.
Oh, and don't forget about my IG channel, IGTV. They just started a channel that I guess they're trying to compete against YouTube. I'm trying to do a little more there, just totally different stuff that's not on YouTube. So go to IG, look for flipman.net. That's Flipman, DOTNET. Follow, and you can access. I sit down and I may be out and about. Normally, I'm not going to be stationary anywhere. So I just throw out something out there that I think that can help you. So my IGTV, Instagram channel, dive into it. I've already put up a few videos on it. So follow me.
Your dusty dinosaur getting to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yes, Ginger, we will create a list of all the social media and websites because we know we got a lot of those.
Oh my God.
And Jamie says, thank you both for sharing all of this information. Can we use the same one-page contract for apartment buildings?
Generally not.
Okay.
Generally
not. Going to Instagram, I see a huge question there. Let me hurry up and get to it. Come on, before I lose it. Because it goes so fast. Why does that? I don't know. Do you see it up there? Okay, here goes. What do I do immediately after putting a house under contract? Oh my gosh, I probably look crazy. Should I go somewhere to make that contract official or just go find a buyer? The paperwork is signed.
So what's the question?
what do you do after you get the contract signed from the seller? Do you go and make it official, or do you just hang on to it until you find it?
Well, it's official whenever you all sign it. You just hold on to it until you find a buyer. Once you find a buyer, then it's time to submit everything to whoever's going to potentially close the deal. So, but to answer your question, just hold on to it.
All right. Well, it is 7:30.
Oh yeah, I started on time. So we definitely an hour.
That's like shade.
An hour and 30 and right now.
Did the palm tree shade you just threw at me? That's fine. Anyway, yes, it's an hour and a half in. We've answered quite a few questions. If we didn't get to your questions, feel free to post them under the video or in the Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman Facebook group. You will have 14,000 plus other members that would be more than happy to answer your questions. Just make sure y'all giving out correct information. If you don't know the answer, don't say nothing at all. And Ty does sometimes, he tries to come through there and answer questions, but it is a lot of stuff going on.
Fast, man.
Yes.
Too fast.
Jarvis wants to know: have you ever met Ron LeGrand?
Nope.
Or Carlton Sheets?
Nope.
Or Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Nope.
Or Damien, the dude from the Shark Tank?
Nope.
No.
Why would they want to meet me?
Because you're tired of flipping.
I ain't nothing. Just a dude with a camera. Let's get it.
With a lot of information. So, as always, thank you guys for joining us on this lovely Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're live across Facebook, Instagram, Facebook group, and YouTube. And we will see you all next week on the flip side. We're signing out. I hope you didn't break my key.
Place.